Good evening and welcome to this August 24th, 2026 meeting of the Lake Bluff Village Board of Trustees. Clerk, please call the roll.
Trustee El Shamaz.
Here.
Recording in progress.
Trustee Fisher.
Here.
Trustee Hatch.
Here.
Trustee Renner.
Here.
Trustee Ryder.
Here.
Thank you. Please stand and join me in reciting the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Recording in progress.
Thank you.
Healthy reminder.
Next, next on our agenda are awards and proclamation, and we have none tonight. And we have now consideration of the minutes of the August 10th, 2026 Village Board meeting. Is there a motion to approve these minutes?
So moved.
Second. Thank you. Are there any comments to Drew and staff on these minutes? I do not see any. It's a voice vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? And the motion carries. Thank you very much. Next is our non-agenda items and visitors. The village board allocates up to 15 minutes for public comments on topic not listed on the agenda. Speakers are asked to limit their remarks to 5 minutes each. The board values public input, and if a comment raises a question or requires additional research, village staff will follow up outside the meeting. This portion of the meeting is not intended for extended discussions, debate, or board deliberation, though the board may choose to respond or discuss a matter at its discretion. The board appreciates and welcomes all participation. Thank you. Anybody willing to do a comment? Please state your name and your address. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Terry DeBruin. I live at 667 Oak Avenue. And I just want to say that the village of Lake Bluff is beautiful. It has a lot of nice things, and you guys have done an awful lot to make it nice. But there's one issue that I'd like to share with you that I'm concerned about. Just want to give you some pictures so you'll know what I'm talking about.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I just want you to know that people around town have added signs over the last 2 years to discourage dog waste on their nice properties. Some people are dropping their bags in other people's garbage bins or lawn bags, even with signs on them. People don't want their garbage bins smelling of someone else's dog waste, and I think there's a picture of one of those on there. They have also removed signs like in the cut-through between North and Washington along Oak that many people use. People work hard or hire landscapers to keep their property looking nice, finding it disappointing and rude of others to be so careless and thoughtless. Perhaps some are renters that aren't aware of their responsibilities regarding dogs. If someone accepts the responsibility of having a dog, they should accept the responsibility of keeping it under control and cleaning up after it. I've seen some people walking their dogs who see the signs and ignore them while standing right in front of them. Possibly they should train their dog to go to an area that is more appropriate, on their own property, in an empty field or lot, or in the forest area, and clean it up there, then take their dogs on a walk. The village has, in the last several weeks, posted a note in the weekly newsletter, and I want to thank the village for doing that. Unfortunately, I don't believe enough dog owners are seeing it. Then today, we had lunch at Sunrise Park and noticed there were dog droppings. One bench was covered in flies. A beautiful park, if not for the dog droppings. Many people are not taking heed of the village rules regarding dogs. So how do we enforce it? The situation doesn't seem to be getting any better. Possibilities are send a note or letter to every homeowner or renter. When dogs are registered, include a letter about their responsibility and their consequences. So when they think people aren't around to ticket them, they need to know that many people see it. Many people have Ring cameras. Let these people know the consequences up front. Increase fines so people will pay attention to the rules. How about a fine and a community service if caught in the act? I'm sure there are plenty of services that could be done. Cleaning up after Market Day, cleaning up under the viaduct on Scranton, handing out notices to the community about this or other tasks. I'm sure you can think of other ideas. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. I have a question for you, Drew. I know that we discussed the animal littering ordinance like 6 months ago. Is there a provision for poop left in bags on roadway?
I mean, it's littering. I mean, and
Thank you.
I think the idea, I know we've written people for this in the past. Chief,
Thank you for coming in.
We were looking,
yeah.
make sure we had it right. Oh, I think we just lost it.
But I think thank you for the comment. From a high level, just know that we're going to talk a little bit about the details, I guess, but the village has tried to bring attention to this from time to time. We hear complaints similar to yours. And I think the good news is it's not super frequent, but certainly it happens. And I see the same signs you say, please don't, do droppings in my yard. And I think we can certainly look into what other towns may have done to find some successful strategies to curb this.
I just think, I just tried to think of possibilities of my own. No, it wasn't, when we first moved here, we didn't notice this, but in the last 2 years, and maybe there's just a changeover in the community, maybe there's not enough communication about it.
Yeah.
The fine was strict, I think if a fine was strict enough, and the people who up front, like when they register their dogs, I think you have to register your dogs, or
No.
No, only if you go to the park district. If you go to the beach, you have to pay, I think, $40 to be on the
Dog
dog
beach.
beach, but otherwise you don't have to register your dog.
that may be where some of the problem lies, if people knew, they just think it's free for their dogs to roam,
Yeah.
and they have no idea.
Yeah. Well, we can certainly look into strategies based off, certainly, we can maybe find something else to do, to do better.
President Charlo, I have a question for Drew.
Please, go ahead.
So I know you're about to talk about littering, but do we have anything, an ordinance for not picking up after your dog? So there is an
You
ordinance.
have, it is unlawful for the owner or custodian of any dog or cat to suffer or permit such dog or cat, whether on leash or not, to perform any bowel movements on any public property or upon any private property not owned by the owner or custodian of such dog or cat, without immediately removing the bowel movements from the property.
Pretty specific.
And that's citable with a fine or some type
Yes,
of?
there's a fine.
Yes,
fee down
under,
there.
later on in that chapter, it's going to be under general penalty, which is, the first fine is 25 for first offense, and then 35 to, not less than $35 for a second offense within any 90-day period, not less than $50 for a third offense. So it's a scale. It's a scale, but it is set forth very specifically in our penalty provision.
And one follow-up question, how does the putting it in the bag and then leaving the bag kind of all over the neighborhood,
I
how
would
does
put that
that
more
fall
towards
into
that
this?
littering side, and like just looking top level, off the cuff would be more of a littering situation, because it's a plastic material that you cannot,
Okay,
just biodegrade, it's just there.
thank you.
We'll look into it. Thank you.
Thank you.
In my opinion, you might consider increasing those fines. Those are so nominal, they're like nothing. In this community, $50 is like, okay, that's up to 50. You get caught for $250 or $500, you're gonna think about that.
Or 1,000.
Thank you very much for bringing this to our attention. I do appreciate it. And I'm a dog owner, so I'm very sensitive to that as well, and I do look at other dog owners in those situations. Thank you. Any more comments today? Drew, do we have anybody online wishing to make a comment?
Anyone participating in tonight's Zoom meeting wanting to make comments on items on tonight's agenda, now is the time to raise your hand to be recognized. No one.
Thank you. Next on our agenda is our village finance report, and that would be first our warrants report for August 11 to August 24, 2026. Could I please have a motion to approve the warrants report?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Thank you. And the warrants report tonight is for expenditure of village funds for payment of invoices in the amount of $350,131.48 for August 11 to August 24, 2026. Are there any questions to Bettina, Drew, and staff tonight? I looked at the ledger. I did not have questions myself. It is a roll call. Clerk, please call the roll.
Trustee El Shamaz?
Aye.
Trustee Fisher?
Aye.
Trustee Hatch?
Aye.
Trustee Renner?
Aye.
And Trustee Ryder?
Aye.
Thank you. Next is our July 2026 finance report. Is there a motion to approve this finance report? So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Would Bettina take this item, or would you take?
Yeah, she's yeah.
Bettina, would you mind taking this item?
Sure, no problem.
Thank you.
Good evening. So included in the packet is the July financial report. And highlights from the report include the July 27 sales tax revenues, which total $375,548, a decrease of $12,943 or 2.2% compared to the prior year. General fund revenues through July totaled $4,609,366, a decrease of $386,910 compared to the same period in FY26. And the variance is primarily related to year-end deferred revenue accounting entries that are completed as part of the annual audit process that's still ongoing, and along with lower year-to-date building permit revenue. General fund expenditures for fiscal year 27 year-to-date totaled $2,655,426, which is an increase of $286,872 when compared to last year. Overall expenditures remain consistent with budgeted operational expenditures.
Thank you, Bettina. Any questions to Bettina? It is a voice vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Is there a motion in a second?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Or
Is
either, I
there,
got
all in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? And the motion carries. Thank you so much. Next would be our village administrator's report.
Thank you. As was teed up in the finance committee meeting earlier this evening, I've had Jeff come in to give a quick update to the village board on our ongoing capital program, as well as highlight, there were some questions over the weekend from some residents of the east and west terraces regarding the new layout for the Green Bay Road crossings of all the side streets, and asked Jeff to clarify some of the details around that and some of the why. So let me get this. And we actually have some interesting video content to share too from local youth. Okay.
Thank you, Drew.
Take it away, Jeff.
Yeah, so we'll kind of go over the list of projects. We'll talk more in depth about some of the larger ones in a second, but we've been busy this year. This spring, we did the streetscape project. All that really remains is a couple of punch list items, and then the poles for the festoon lights. Apparently, we're about 5 months of wait time, so we expect those later this fall. Those should go up as soon as they're done, and then that project will be closed. Green Bay Road reconstruction, we'll talk about it a little bit more in a minute, but that is going along. We're trying to get ready for school to start here later this week. The street resurfacing program's also active this week. They were paving today, more later this week. We should be just about done by the end of the week. Concrete replacement is sidewalks. That'll be a little later in the fall. Pavement maintenance is going to be the reclamite treatment. That'll be a little later in the fall as well. The underpass handrails, they've been on here forever, but we're expecting when we do the final phase of the deep tunnel project, that gets completely reconstructed in that phase. So when we know a little more about when that construction's going to happen, if it's going to happen in a year and a half, there doesn't seem to be a point to go ahead and start spending money patching those at this point. And then not our project, but the IDOT pump station project is continuing at a very slow pace out at Highway 41. I think it's going to be next year they're going to have long-term lane closures on Highway 41, but they've had many problems with that, keeping that construction going, so they are well behind. And then, not in construction this year, at least not yet, this fiscal year, is the Green Bay Road Bridge that is set to start in February or March. And then we are working on the Phase 1 engineering study for the Ped Bridge to North Chicago. That's likely a 2030 project right now with all the other major road closures we're going to have in the next few years.
The image you're seeing now is obviously the CBD Block 1 engineering plan. We wanted to highlight that the beautification project was done, including the statue.
Yeah, it seems very well reviewed by the merchants and the people using it. I think that's what happy. I do want to thank especially Landmark Construction had trouble sourcing the plants, so they ended up planting them at the absolute worst time of year. It didn't rain for 3 weeks, and it was 90 degrees every day, so they watered those just about every day. And we lost a few, but that really could have been a disaster with how much heat we had. It rains all the time now, but we forget a month ago it hadn't rained in weeks. So yeah, it's a nice shot, and everything is shiny and new right now. I think it looks pretty good. Yeah. And then Green Bay Road, we started that up in May, and it's going well. We'll be paving tomorrow. We're getting the ends, at least the first layer of asphalt down, so that the roads will be open throughout the school year. The middle will still be under construction until October at some point. But they are making good progress out there. Paving tomorrow, paving Wednesday if they don't finish the two ends tomorrow. And then they're going to come back and do storm sewer in the middle section, the curb, the street later this fall. Yeah. And like Drew had said, so there was a flurry of emails concerned about the safety of the new crosswalk design. So far, they've poured the sidewalks up at West Center and at Thornwood. I chose this one for an example because it's one of the more extreme ones where, we're moving the crosswalk toward the street. And there's several reasons for that. I think it looks a little dramatic right now, the way we have it all dug out. By moving it towards the street, the idea is that the pedestrians, the bikes, they see the cars and the cars see the pedestrians and the bicyclists. When the crosswalk was back where it is in the red, many times you'd have cars trying to make a right turn or come out of Park Lane. They'd be stopped on the crosswalk. And now that child or adult has to choose to go behind that car, in front of that car. That's not a safe situation. So modern crosswalks, I guess one of the things they try to do is orient the pedestrians so they see the traffic. So you have to turn and face what might be coming your way. So this benefits us that way to make people crossing the road slow down a little bit, look and see what might be coming, turning into the side street. And it's a little awkward to look at on paper. It's a little awkward the first few times you do it. I do think when we do the rest of these, I think we can soften some of those 90-degree corners a little bit with a little more of a radius. So if somebody's trying to navigate that on a bike, especially a small child, they don't have to make a very sharp 90-degree turn. We can give them a little more space there. But that is basically the design approach, was to try to make it safer by moving it out closer to the street where everybody can see each other. And it just so happened today, our guy in the field, Dave, after we were out there talking about how some people just buzz right through, and then he was watching a kid go by. And yeah, I know it's under construction, but you should still slow down and look. And that is where we stripped out the old sidewalk in place. They hadn't dug the new sidewalk location yet. And then he came back a little
I'm just
later.
going to show this one more time because it's riveting.
Yeah.
No stop.
Yeah, and there's no real research published yet on e-bikes, but kids are going a lot faster than they used to be. Their bikes just because they're powered. And then this one is roughly graded for what it's going to be. And Here he is again. You gotta slow down, see what's coming.
He has to slow down to navigate the turn.
Yeah, it's kind of a speed reduction.
Yeah.
Well, he just had his 15 minutes of fame.
Give one more shot. There we go. But the concerns, when we shared that, you know, these were design standards, engineered, engineers have worked on for years to develop these standards to maximize safety, and that we told the 6 or so folks that had emailed us over the weekend that we would look at, as Jeff pointed out, the other intersections to try to push it back a little more. They seem to be very comfortable with that approach. So
Yeah,
hopefully
there was
that's-
a field change at West Center. The pole wasn't where we thought it was, and that looks a little more awkward. We're gonna see if maybe there's something that could be done there. But as far as how close to the road it is, it's about the same as Sheridan Road and East Sheridan Road and a lot of those intersections. I don't think there's been a real problem with kids being that close to the road and, I don't know, losing control and heading in a bad spot, so. So there's no questions on that, or else we can move on.
I'm going to have a question about this.
Okay, yeah, and this is
Yeah.
what we had 4 ABR meetings, where we went over what this design should look like, and this is pretty close to the end product. I do think the fence between the 2 posts changed a little bit in the last meeting. We haven't got a new perspective on it since, but this is what that effort came up with.
And I think it looks gorgeous, and I'm excited about the aesthetics. I know we talked at length about the safety of the sidewalk and the shift from it not being fenced. This image gives me concern about pedestrian and bike. Like, how do we deal with if a biker is coming down the sidewalk and there's a pedestrian? We don't want anybody having to step into the road to get out of the way.
So this is the one spot in the project where we're actually widening the road. So there is a 5-foot space between the white line and the sidewalk. So I would assume that a biker would take the road for that
Hopefully,
150
yes.
feet. Because there would be plenty of room for bikes. A small child on a bike might stay on the sidewalk. They're usually going slow enough unless they're on an e-bike. They could navigate that together. But yes, there is a hard wall on one side, and it is 5 feet,
Good,
I think is our sidewalk.
great.
I have a question, Jeff, and that follows the conversation we had about a lighting fixture in Lake Bluff. We had talked about those electric lanterns being maybe temporary or we would take a different form, but I think they're still the same and they will shine light
Yes,
up.
and this is the older drawing, and
Okay.
we've talked with the consultants, and the actual lantern is probably the least important time-pressing
Meaning it can
detail
change.
that we could have, yeah, as far as time goes, because when it comes down to it, we'll tell them what to order, and if it's $200 different or $400 different out of $4 million, it's not going to be significant. So we talked with the ABR about coming back and revisiting that light. So, yeah, that will be looked at again. We are set. You're going to see a flurry of resolutions later this year to keep our schedule. The precast beams for the bridge are going to be a separate contract let in November, so that the lead time on that, they can start ordering those, or we can actually, because we'll be buying those. And then the actual letting of the project to find our contractor will happen in January. And then the beams will be already in the queue to be produced and on the way, so that we can get the bridge open again before school starts in the fall. I don't know the whole project will be done, but we talked about there'll be no closures once school starts. So they might have some daytime flagging as they rebuild the road and finish the road. But we can limit that to outside school pickup and drop-off times as well. So that is the rush and why you're going to see double the amount of resolutions, because we're actually bidding it twice with the beams being separate. Stormwater-wise, we have Drew and I have a meeting on Thursday with our consultants to kind of go over where we are, progress on the design. This shows it correctly. We had issues with the railroad, did not want the big pipe under the bridge abutments. They didn't want to take an honest look at it either. We ended up just shifting it away because it's really not that much of a cost difference. I think it will limit the closure of the viaduct a little easier. That's probably a 60-day closure in 2028 of the viaduct if we get our funding all in line to do the whole project with our IDOT money and our own money. But yeah, the engineering is ongoing. The only real hiccup is they came to do soil borings at a farmer's market Friday downtown. That really messed up traffic for a couple hours. But other than that, so we have a progress meeting Thursday. We'll get some updated costs, kind of see where we're landing as far as how much we get from the state, how much we can bond, and if we can make this all happen in one contract, or if we're going to end up doing a second phase of construction up to Sheridan Road while we wait on state funds to get the third phase done to the underpass.
And one of the things we learned from the first leg was we really liked, and the neighborhood really liked, the heaviest construction in the coldest, darkest months of winter, because they weren't out anyway, you know, tear up the street and spend time, and that would be our goal, to try to hopefully time it that way. And then the critical landing zone, like we talked about earlier, is getting under the viaduct and landing there in the summer, so as to certainly we want to maximize the contractor's efficiency, so they don't have to remobilize, but we're going to land there in the summer so we can close it for approximately 60 days when school's out.
And actually moving the big pipe out of the street helps with that, because while they have their tunneling machine here, they could put the big pipe in anytime they wanted to, other than a little bit of a path closure, and then they can come back. There's smaller pipes than in the viaduct itself, and that could be done in the summer, but they could get a little further the rest of the year on the larger pipe.
The ravine project.
And then, yeah, we're working on the engineering for the, that's probably gonna be a spring project now. We're getting a little late to bid that, but that is the eroding ravine between Bluff Road and Birch. That continues to hold all right, but there is some threatening to some of the neighboring properties, so we need to get some stabilization in that ravine. I think there's just a couple of pictures from the project from this winter and this spring down by Lily and Dell. Again, they did a nice job getting that all to fit. There's a lot of stuff down there in a tight space, and it ended up looking pretty good. We do have a little more work where these barricades are. There'll be some nicer landscaping, hopefully yet this fall. Kind of delineating the public from the private property a little better and making it more appealing.
May I ask a very quick question? Oh, yeah, can you back up one or two slides? How is it that, well, back to the Lily and Dallas, the paths? Path on the north, that was open for, I don't know, a month or two? Why is it closed now?
That's private property. It just wasn't signed for a while as we were getting finished. So where the trench is, where the man is standing to the south, that's generally where the Lily and Dell limits are. So that path on the south side, we're going to clear some of the vegetation back so it's more comfortable to walk on. That is the public path. The north side is actually private property.
So why was the path built on the north side if it's private property?
Part of the project required us to get an easement from the people who own that property, because we dug this trench where they used to walk on their own property. So to compensate them for the loss of value of that land, at the edge of it, we're putting in that path.
Okay, so
For them.
so that path isn't considered something akin to a sidewalk in the village that anybody can walk on?
The path on the south side is a public path. The north side is on private property.
Right, I understand that,
But we do not have rights to, the public doesn't have it. The easement is for the trench and for storm sewer. The path itself is just on private property, and there is no public right to use that path.
well, before all this happened, I mean, it was really treacherous to walk down there. People would walk down there. Were they walking on private property then?
Many times, yes, but the path was wider on the public side as well, where the trench is right now in that swale. But that spot where you see that path was always on private property. It just wasn't delineated very well.
And that's why we went to so much trouble to make the distinction here, and that, Jeff, where those barricades are now, if you go out there, there's going to be a permanent, I'll call it almost like a wall of landscaping to include fallen logs and other shrubberies and to really clarify this is private, this is public. And that has been an ongoing issue for people who've owned that property to the north side for years. It's the trespassing issues.
I can understand that.
Yeah.
I was thinking these paths were more like sidewalks and
Yeah.
sidewalks you can walk on, but I understand now.
Great.
That's been an ongoing issue for at least 10 years.
Whoa.
At least.
Probably since Lillian Dales was gifted to the village, probably
Lillian
100
Dale.
years.
Yeah, the issue is the Lillian Dell property itself doesn't really get you to the water in a very nice location. The private property looks much more inviting, so trying to, so you can walk down here on these rocks, but this is also private property just off the rocks. It's been a tricky thing.
Jeff, those barricades there, those were put up by the village,
Yes, Public Works put those up,
and they'll be taking them down when we install the shrubbery.
the shrubbery and different signage to tell the public where they should be.
Thank you.
Jeff, can I ask one question? Can you go back to Green Bay Road where you're showing the sidewalks?
Yep.
One of them is actually right there, that's the perfect one. That one happens, that White House is my house.
Oh, okay.
So I have been looking at this, and first I thought, as you can see on the part of the street that's closer to us in the picture, it absolutely looks like it's cut, and maybe the cut is not correct, but the cut is like, I thought they were putting a crosswalk there, because it empties right into the street. And I know we saw that kid zipping along on his scooter, but there's nothing, as you can see here, really in both of them, but especially at that corner, that separates the street from the sidewalk.
So there will be, all the cuts are a little wide, so where you see the street is cut to, that's about a foot behind the curb. And where you see this is cut to, it's also a foot or so wider than the sidewalk's going to be. So it's going to be a couple feet, there's going to be a patch of grass between the back of the curb and the edge of the sidewalk.
And from the edge of the roadway to the crossing was about how many?
About 6 feet.
6 linear feet.
Okay, 'cause, that made me nervous when I saw
Yeah.
that.
So what if you go back to more towards the south end of Green Bay Road? There's, I think you have the curbs already up with the sidewalk, right?
If you go to the south end, the curb is up and the indentations are poured for where the sidewalk will be, but the sidewalk's not poured at Witchwood or Hawthorne.
Okay, okay,
And it won't be for about a month.
okay.
So on Thursday, we also have a pre-construction meeting with the water tower painting contractor that will take our water tower down for about 5 weeks. It will be on Lake Forest water and have some backup plans if things happen during that time. But the first step is to find out the schedule, which we'll find out later this week. So if your water tastes funny in October, it's 'cause it's from Lake Forest. That's not our normal water, but that's a necessary thing for a while. And then we're also starting we have a agreement to share costs 50-50 with people who get their lead service replaced, up to $200,000 budgeted this year. So we're gonna send out letters here shortly, seeing who's interested, and then hopefully we have enough budget to cover all who are interested. If not, we'll have to develop some criteria to decide which is, and off the top of my head, it's mostly like, is it a brand new street we'd cut in? I would rather not do that. If somebody has a street that's gonna get resurfaced next year, that would be a priority, or people who have tested high for lead would be a priority to get those out of our system. So we have to think about that, and if we can get rid of all the services on one street, I think that would be a plus. But that needs to go out here pretty quickly, a letter just polling interest. I've had plenty of people call me saying they're interested, so I think we will easily use that budget this year. It's just a matter of organizing that. We're doing a little bit of sewer televising, and then the lift station improvements is a contract you all approved, I think, in April to replace 2 pumps at the Blodgett lift station that we're having troubles with. And I think that is
The list.
that is the program for this year.
So that's it.
That's all we're doing.
That's enough.
Just another summer in Lake Bluff. I'm happy to answer any questions. Jeff's here. Anybody has any other questions? If you like those, we can send you the slideshow if you want to push it out too.
David sent me that.
The visual, the video, yeah.
I didn't actually get a chance to see it until right before, and I realized it was the same one. But it didn't have your commentary, so. And for anyone who wonders why, because I run our neighborhood Facebook page, and so anything on there that is of interest to the neighborhood. In fact, I will share the village's post.
Would you want to come up to the?
Oh, sure. For those who don't know me, whoa. I'm Kathleen Reedy, and I live at 472 Green Bay Road. So I have a front row seat to all of this fun, and it's been really interesting because I've never been through a project like this. And so it's been super helpful to be able to talk to Drew, or to David is very good giving us like sort of timelines ahead of time. And we realized that, and Drew and I talking, that mainly the reason we were going to him for information is that most of the neighborhood was not still active on the
Smart 911,
alerts,
yeah.
the Smart 911. And I learned that you can, because I knew I had been registered, but if you don't use it within, I believe it's 6 months, and that just means checking in on it, it will just go dormant. And so most people, and that may be, a lot of people in the village, think, well, what's going on? I'm not hearing about anything. But all you have to do is to check in with it. And I did find that I had just gone dormant. I could see when I had started it, but that didn't mean anything. So once we did that, we kind of let David do his thing, because we were getting a lot more information. And I'm still hearing from some people who aren't, so I take what comes in those and I put that out there. And I will share photos and things like that. So it's very helpful, because it's hard to go through this, and especially those of us right on Green Bay Road, I can tell you, is super hard. And so it's good to, be able to keep people abreast of what's going on. I'm at the north end. I love it when people who live at the south end report in of what's going on down there. And I'm personally very excited to see the pavement starting at the north and the south end. I'm so excited. Yesterday I had a little temper tantrum because the dust was so bad over the weekend, and it's 20-mile-an-hour construction zone, and people were going through it like I'm gonna guess like 40 and more. So they had me out on my end of my driveway, and I'm yelling, slow down. And basically also reminding people that they should have learned in driver's ed, if you can't see the car behind you, they can't see you either. And the dust plume was terrible. Today, the truck came through twice and wet the street down. Huge difference. So anyway, thank you to everyone. I mean, I don't think, I know what's going on in our neighborhood. I don't think I had any idea of how much was going on in the village, in other places. And I know you say it's just another summer.
It's not.
It is not. It is not.
No.
It's a lot that's going on,
No.
and I appreciate, poor Drew had me on the weekend when we were trying to
9
figure
o'clock
out
on
the
a Sunday
Smart
night. What's this
911 stuff. I'm like, don't reply to this. We got it. Both of us have to have lives. But you know what? It made a huge difference. We got to the bottom of it, and we figured it out. And, it all comes, I was the communications director at Lake Bluff School District for many years. It's all about communication. And so once we got that figured out, that was a big difference. And also thank you for answering the question about the sidewalk, because that made no sense to me when I saw that. And it does now. So thank you.
Thank you, Kathleen.
Great.
Thank you, Kathleen.
The only other thing I would report is, undoubtedly people have heard by now, but it was in the news. The village pushed out informational social media post about an event. Sadly, a dog got taken by a coyote last week, and we pushed out a warning. And thankfully, it's probably one of the most shared posts we've ever done. And I was excited in one sense because our numbers outpaced in terms of sharing and views and comments than anything the police department's post has done on social media. They've always led us, and now the village has taken over, and there was hardly any, so I felt good about that, but horrible for the animal. But and grateful that the information spread and perhaps prevents that from happening again. But always a threat with those predators roaming around, and hopefully it doesn't happen, but I expect it will at some point, sadly. But that's all I had. Happy to answer any other questions.
May I ask, where in the village is it?
Tangley Oaks. And the owner was really close proximity and just happened like that.
It's terrible.
Yep.
Yep.
This is terrible.
That's all I have.
Thank you, Drew. Next would be our village attorney's report, and tonight we have Courtney Treffield. Courtney?
No report.
Thank you. Next with my report, and I do not have a report tonight. Our next item on the agenda is item 11, the acceptance of a correspondence. The correspondence was delivered to the village board in the informational report on August 14 and 21st, 2026. Is there a motion to approve the correspondence?
Motion to approve. Second.
Thank you. It's a voice vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Thank you. Next is item 12. And item 12 is a resolution authorizing the execution of a construction engineering services agreement with Dixon Engineering, Inc. for the Village of Lake Bluff's water tower rehabilitation project. Is there a motion to approve this resolution?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. On May 11, 2026, the village board approved a construction contract with Era Valdivia Contractors, Inc. in the amount of $598,920 to complete the village water tower rehabilitation project. This project includes painting the exterior of a water tower and the interior of a bowl and other minor upgrades, including the installation of a chlorine analyzer to automatically perform the mandated daily chlorine testing and the installation of a vault that will allow the village to calibrate the water distribution meter. The project is likely to start in September of this year and will take approximately 5 weeks to complete. The village requested proposals from Baxter and Woodmans and Dixon Engineering to provide construction engineering services for this project. But Baxter and Woodman will provide contract administration services and inspection of all the elements not related to the painting of a tower at a cost not to exceed $16,200. The agreement does not require village board approval as the value of this does not require approval as the value is less than $25,000. Dixon Engineering specializes in water tower coatings and will provide services associated with the painting portion of the project. The agreement provides for all submittal reviews, construction documentation, and warranty inspections of a painting at a cost not to exceed $45,350, which requires village board approval. The village fiscal year 2027 budget contains adequate funds for the services, and the village engineer recommends adoption of the attached resolution approving the construction engineering services agreement with Dixon Engineering for a fee not to exceed $45,350. Question for Drew and Jeff on this item 12. I do not see questions. It is a roll call vote. Clerk, please call the roll.
Trustee El-Shamaz?
Aye.
Trustee Fisher?
Aye.
Trustee Hatch?
Aye.
Trustee Renner?
Aye.
And Trustee Ryder?
Aye.
Thank you. Next is our trustees' report. Do any trustee wish to make a report tonight? I do not see anybody willing to make a report. And tonight, we do not have an executive session, and last would be our adjournment. Could I please have a motion to adjourn tonight?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? And we're adjourned. Thank you so much for being here tonight, and thank you for anyone listening to us tonight. Bye-bye.